Welcome to today's Strengths Conversation. I am Jane Liebecker, and I am an Eddie Villa certified coach specializing in the Gallup Strengths, and I am in Seattle, Washington.
Hi, everybody. I am Manetta Fields. I too am an Eddie Villa certified coach, and I've just learned that Gallup Strength Assessment is an amazing tool that I use in my business. And I'm joining you from Laurel, Maryland.
Our special guest today is Sandra Freeman. Sandra, where are you today?
I am joining you from Southern Oregon,
Nice.
and I too am a Eddie Villa certified coach, and I use that knowledge and wisdom in every aspect of my life,
Mm,
business, personal relationships, dealing with children, everything.
yes, absolutely. So, can you share with us what your dominant domains are?
My dominant domains are strategic thinking, which means I love to think, create, and learn.
Mhm.
Love to do that. I'm also, I have a secondary domain, which is executing. And that has to do with making sure that things are done the right way.
Yes. So, how did you learn about strengths?
I learned about strengths because um, I heard, well, I initially heard about strengths because I was partnering with a company that recommended people. I didn't know anything about it, and I did it and never paid any attention to it. I got the assessment, and I didn't know the world that would open for me if I got into it. However, so I would say how I really got introduced to strengths was that I was in a situation to hear a very dynamic talk that was given on Zoom by Eddie Villa.
Mhm.
And that really got my interest. And I realized that I needed to get my full strengths report, all 34, as a result of hearing Eddie speak.
Mm-hmm.
And
How'd that
then
feel for
that
you?
was life changing.
Life changing. There it is.
So, where is belief in your top 10?
I have belief at 7.
Mm, okay.
Okay.
So I am going to share with our viewing audience what belief is as described by Gallup. So people strong in the belief theme have certain core values that are unchanging. Out of these values emerges a defined purpose for their life. Does that ring true for you?
It does, although to really when I heard Eddie give his interpretation of that strength, it rocked my world.
Mm,
And it's not in opposition to or different than what you just read, and it is.
okay.
And that is so, and I remember distinctly, I was sitting in a car and I was listening to Eddie had recorded the good, the bad, and the ugly of every strength. And I knew, so belief is in my top 10. Belief came out and I accessed it. I was sitting in my car. So what I heard was more than what you said,
Mhm.
Monetta. What I heard was that this person, every, yes, their core values shape every thought, every choice, every action. And that is a very powerful thing. I also heard that people with high belief are like a rock for other people to be able to lean on. It's also not so often quick to be open to new ideas. It doesn't mean the person with high belief will never be open and will always be rigid, but it does mean it's not a quick being a pushover. It really has to I guess, I mean, I can only speak for myself. See this in myself. I might say no or be skeptical or not wholeheartedly embrace a new idea or somebody's opinion until I've had time to, okay, how does this fit with my deeply held beliefs and values? So, and I also, to be honest, was when I listened to this, it rocked my world and I was not at peace with it. I started really questioning, well, how does this work? Am I just this incredibly stubborn, rigid person that's hard to deal with? Is that who I am because I have belief in my top 10? And it took some, and this is what's beautiful about the strengths and embracing learning about oneself, is it took a while for me to see how it actually works and that it was not a negative thing at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, not at all. What are your number 1 and 5 strengths, Sandra?
I was just going to say. So because my number 1 is connectedness.
Mm.
Number 5 is strategic, which to me is a very intuitive, much more fluid than the way you would describe belief, because people with high strategic can quickly take in a lot of information and find the path, find the way, find the solution, and move forward. So connectedness absolutely defines my core values. And it was when I could see that it wasn't just belief was in there, like I got stuck with belief in there. It's like, oh, these things dance with each other. And what connectedness means to me is a wonderful thing for my actions, my thoughts, etc., to be guided by. And so it was with that I made peace with, okay, so belief, isn't a pushover, can be stubborn. But if I want to be stubborn about the value of connectedness, that feels really different.
Mm-hmm. It does, I'm sure. So can you give us an example of how you use belief?
Wow, that's a tough one in a way. And I think that it's so because I have strategic thinking high and I really also appreciate dialogue, and we're living in a time of a lot of intense events, opinions, polarities, reactions, distress. There's a lot going on in the world. So for me, because in my belief is a strong desire to refrain from being vindictive and to refrain from creating conflict that conflict and degenerating into emotional uh, reaction, that my belief strength combined with the connectedness and some other things lets me kind of pull back a little bit and ask what is a worthy battle for me and what is not.
That's good.
And where do I feel I must stand up for something? And then in what way will I execute that?
Yes. Well, I think you already told us how your number 1 and your number 5 strengths influence your belief strength. So let's go on. Monetta.
So would you like to share with us something you really like about your belief strength?
I didn't like it until I saw that it was like a powerful element for anything that I hold very dear. So like the connectedness, which is where my energy is the highest because it's my number 1. And what connectedness means to me, among many things, includes being kind to the earth and being connected to all of nature and seeing that we are all one. So I don't know if that responds well. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it sure did. So Sandra, what would you say to somebody who's sitting on the fence about taking the Gallup Strengths Assessment?
So this is what I would say. If you're sitting on the fence, it means to me you've been exposed to the idea that it's an opportunity to take advantage of. What has come up for people a lot is, the money, or I don't want to be defined, or whatever that it is that comes up for people. So if somebody is on the fence because they're not clear on the value, so the money sounds like it's too much, that is, just take the assessment. Because I have never for 1 second ever said, well, why did I spend, what is it now, $59.99?
Mhm.
69.
Never. It's $69.99 now. There's no way that I have ever regretted investing the time. And as far as feeling that I was defined, it's the opposite.
Mhm.
If that's the some people, that's their skepticism. It sounds like a system that's going to define them and put them in a box. For me, it was the opposite. It freed me. It freed me in such profound ways. And I don't think I'm the only person
Mm-mm.
within the community, in the strengths community, that would say exactly the same thing.
That's
It
Yes.
freed me to love who I am.
Yeah, so right.
I
Well,
love
thank you so much, Sandra. It was a wonderful conversation about your belief strength, and we really appreciate your coming on and chatting with us about it.
Thank you for
Yes,
having
thank
me.
you for the opportunity to learn from you today.
Yes.
Oh, I just thank you.